Colorado's new record-setting highway span is located at the center of the 4th Street Bridge as a gateway to historic downtown in Pueblo, Colorado. The bridge, designed for the Colorado Department of Transportation by FIG, crosses 28 sets of active heavy rail tracks in the Pueblo Rail Yard and the Arkansas River. To cross the 28 tracks, a single long-span bridge design was required, and when complete, the bridge became the state's longest highway span of 378 feet. Another long-span bridge preserves the river with no piers in the water. To maintain busy rail yard operations during construction, FIG engineers developed a unique design and construction solution by building from above, using balanced cantilever construction. Project aesthetics were selected by the community, and the bridge opened to traffic in December of 2010, an impressive 6 months ahead of schedule.
Finding a solution to allow the bridge to cross over a vast railroad yard there in Pueblo. There are 23 very closely spaced railroad tracks for the Union Pacific and 5 for the Burlington Northern, including 3 mainline tracks. So a solution had to be found where the yard could be spanned while at the same time finding locations for piers and foundations that would fit within that difficult site. So the solution we developed was to provide a clear span over the Union Pacific while still maintaining their temporary and permanent clearances that they required. And in doing so, we ended up with about a 379-foot span that coincidentally resulted in the longest highway span for a highway bridge in the state of Colorado. We had just a great team of people from the CDOT leadership team, as I mentioned earlier, to everyone else. And just being able to see that design grow and develop in all phases of the project over about a 10-year period that it was worked on, from feasibility to environmental process, preliminary and final design, and construction. And then after spending that effort and time with those people to develop such a great design, be able to watch it get built, and then to have this great project here in our own state of Colorado, just down the road, is wonderful. Well, one of the most interesting technological aspects of the 4th Street Bridge project was that the segmental design and construction technologies that were employed allowed the bridge to be built completely from above in what we call balanced cantilever. And in doing so, we were able to allow railroad operations to go on and continue uninterrupted in the yard below the structure during construction. And the functional aspects of that design were also enhanced through a context-sensitive design solution process, working with the community, and through an award-winning community process that brought that community together and brought design solutions to the project that were embraced by the community.
An innovative design and construction approach by the design team from FIG met the unique challenges for providing this new gateway to historic downtown Pueblo. A major railroad corridor, including 28 tracks and the Arkansas River, had to be crossed without disruption. Not only would this lead to the longest highway span in Colorado, it would also require a construction method that built the bridge from above and not interfere with the ground or the river. The project demonstrated a number of features that would score highly in a sustainability assessment. Economic benefits were realized by not disrupting the critical transportation flow during the construction period. Environmental benefits were provided by using a long-span construction method over the Arkansas River. Social benefits were provided to the community with providing the gateway link from historic downtown Pueblo to other parts of the town.
The Colorado Springs and Cripple Creek District Railway was an operating railroad from 1901 to 1920 and was subsequently converted into an automobile toll road, Gold Camp Road, in 1924. Of the 9 original tunnels along the railroad, only one remains in use today by local residents and tourists for access into the mountains from Colorado Springs. When the tunnel was becoming progressively deformed and unstable, Teller County was faced with either permanently closing the popular tourist route or applying 20% of its annual road budget to a single project. Teller County received a grant from the State Historical Fund to keep the road open with one key condition. They must preserve the historical character of the tunnel, including the original exposed timber supports. Shannon and Wilson, Inc. provided geotechnical engineering expertise and designed a repair for the tunnel that involved constructing and salvaging the existing timbers, resupporting the roof of the tunnel, and reconstructing the original timber frame using as many of the original timbers as possible. Now both the integrity of the structure and its historical pedigree are preserved for new generations to explore.
Goldcamp Tunnel, the most impressive innovation was finding a way to support those timber arches that wasn't visible from inside the tunnel. And the original design relied on material above holding them down, holding them in compression, holding them together. But all of that weight was what was causing the distress and the reason we had to fix the tunnel. Goldcamp Tunnel is a historic structure. The whole Goldcamp Road was designated a National Historic Landmark. And the unique thing about this project was probably working with History Colorado, and it used to be the Colorado Historical Society. And engineers, by nature, are trying to find the most efficient, if not the most elegant or aesthetically pleasing solution to a problem. And in this case, we had to come up with a solution that worked, gave us the structural capacity we needed, gave us the appropriate factors of safety, but also were true to the way the tunnel used to look, so that when you go through, you'd see, as best we could, the same thing that someone riding the train or driving through that tunnel in 1936 would have seen. That's a neat back route, and there's a lot of scenery back along there that you don't get. It's very different from what you see along the state highways if you go up Highway 24 and Highway 67. And the aspens back there in the fall are spectacular. So knowing that you're going to be able to continue or people are going to be able to continue to drive along that road, and knowing that we found a way to do it that helped out Teller County. They didn't have a huge budget for this project, and we found a way to get it done that satisfied their needs and preserved that tunnel going forward.
This tunnel was the last remaining historic feature from 9 original tunnels of a railway and toll road from Colorado Springs to the mining areas of Cripple Creek. The historical value of that last remaining tunnel was to be protected, while assuring the public safety with major structural and geotechnical improvements to the tunnel. Faced with the closure of the popular tourist route, or committing 20% of the annual budget to this one project, the owner, Teller County, needed an effective and innovative solution. A grant from the State Historical Fund was conditional based on the county preserving the historical character of the tunnel. That social and environmental demand was satisfied by the project team from Shannon and Wilson. By recovering the original timber frames during the rehabilitation phase, the team was able to reconstruct the visual appearance of the tunnel after the structural stabilization was completed. Travelers can now have the same experience as prior generations of people who use this route to historic areas in the mountains. The economic benefits of keeping the tourist and transportation route open were a result of the creative and innovative approaches used by the team. Historical preservation, while protecting the public safety, would be recognized for their social benefits in a sustainability assessment of the project. This project scores highly in the social and environmental needs of the project and supported the economic needs of the community with effective use of the available funding.
CTL Thompson Inc.'s engineers led its client, Kip Hamden Inc., through the critical first stages of this unique project, an approximately $7 million renovation of the historic Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church in Trinidad, Colorado. Originally built in 1907, a new vision for the church would transform the church into a new touchstone for the community, becoming a health and wellness center that will provide much-needed care for the region, which is classified as medically underserved. The renovation required a full basement beneath the original structure to accommodate the addition of a wellness center adjoining the chapel. CTL provided the geotechnical design criteria for a foundation system that would ensure the historic church would stand its ground for another century. During the process, CTL reinforced the church through a temporary soil nail wall and micropile underpinning to install a new base, a technique that is not routinely used, but proves highly effective for projects of this nature.
The Mount Carmel church renovation will serve as a health and wellness center for the Trinidad area, in an area where over 50% of the people have to leave the county in order to get primary health care. Conventional foundation construction to needing to underpin a unreinforced laid stone foundation for the church, using methods that are typically not used on a construction site. The scope of the project continually changed, and the design team and the construction team had to continually change their methods to accommodate the changes in the scope.
To repurpose this historically significant church to meet community needs for a health and welfare center required significant changes to the 100-year-old structure, while a new basement was constructed to provide the needed space. A unique geotechnical solution was provided by the project team, CTL Thompson. This approach protected the social value of the existing structure while allowing the community to be served well into the future. Innovation would also score highly for this project in a sustainability assessment.